Are you a Frima beginner, or have you just learned about Frima and then you asking yourself what exactly is Frima? And you open this canvas or this workspace and then kind of looks very new, and you're a bit overwhelmed about all these buttons and these spaces that you're seeing. What is this white page? What do we have here? How do I publish my first website? Well, in this video, I will take you through a complete Frima 101 beginner guide.
Yes, my name is Joe and this is Frima Dive. Let's get this started.
So we're gonna start with the overview. I'm gonna show you the overview of the workspace, and to kick off, I want to show you we have here something called the canvas section, and this is where we're gonna design everything in Frima. Basically, if we put anything on the white page, this will reflect on our website. And then we also have these parts here called the properties panel on the right side. So essentially, whatever we draw inside this Canva area is gonna be edited, or we're gonna edit its properties on this right side. And then we have on the left panel, we have the pages, the layers, and the assets. So as you can see, we have layers and we have assets, but for now I want you to focus on layers, which is the first thing we're gonna build. So we have this area called the layers panel, and basically you want to look at any website that you want to build. Is it has layers. So we have the first layer, we have the second layer, and we have the third layer. We can have as many layers as possible. So we're gonna start with our first layer, but basically our first layer is already built, and we can see we have a desktop here. So I want you to hold F on your keyboard, and we're gonna draw our first frame, which is our second layer. As you can see, the frame goes underneath the desktop, and then I'm gonna play with the width, and I'm gonna just drag it to the end, and I'm gonna drag again till the end. And notice the properties panel here is also changing, so I'm gonna change it to there, and then I'm also gonna do the same here. And then also the height, I'm gonna put it like to around 800 pixels in height. So let's assume this is our first frame, and inside this frame we wanna put our text content. So I'm gonna hold T on my keyboard, and I'm gonna write here, welcome to my website. So I'm gonna come to the text. As you can see, we've highlighted the text on the layers panel, and on the right panel we can come and increase the size of our text. So I'm gonna give it like 45. So, and then I'm gonna just drag it and put it at the center of my website. And then remember, we also need a button so that people can see what to click. So I'm gonna click T again on my keyboard, and I'm gonna write here, I'm gonna write click me. So I'm gonna write click me. So click me is basically a button, and we're gonna use it as a button. But as you can see, this looks a little bit off. We need like a frame around it so that we can be able to click it. Again, the text is big, so I'm gonna minimize the size of this text to around somewhere like there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click this text, and I'm gonna hold again F on my keyboard, and then I'm gonna draw like a frame around it like this. So we're drawing this frame, and notice what happens is that this click me goes underneath the frame, and we can see that based on the alignment of this. As you can see, we have this kind of a red line that goes on in this angle. Okay, so again, now we have the frame, and I'm gonna just come and like give it a color so you can see our button. Okay, so now we have a website. It's called welcome to my website. You can see click me, but then again it looks a little bit off, so let's add a little bit of styling. So let's click our frame, and we're gonna name it button. Okay, so notice we can also name the layers to our specific name. And then I'm gonna come here to the radius bit and I'm gonna give it like 10. So notice what happens is we working with the radius, which is the distance. This is the radius. As you can see, when we increase it, it also changes to any number. So as you can see, we can change the radius. I'm gonna give it like that, and now it looks like a button. It looks clickable. And then I feel I need also to minimize the size a bit, and I think it looks good. It looks clean. Then again, we need to make sure we don't just see a white background. We need some style. So I'm gonna click my main frame and I'm gonna call it my main. Okay, so I'm gonna just call it my main frame. Okay, and see, we just have a very blank, kind of a just blank website. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add another frame which will act as the background of our website content. So I'm gonna hold F on my keyboard. I'm gonna draw a frame here, and notice, so make sure you draw a frame outside here like this. So notice we have this frame, and I'm gonna call this my background. So I'm gonna name it BG so that we can see our layers nicely named. So I'm gonna come here to the positioning type, and this is kind of a bit complex, but you're gonna see what I'm gonna do here. We can see here we have 126 on the left side. It means that the distance between my frame here and my edge is 126. So if I want this to lean on this bit, I just need to come to this part and give it like a 0. And notice it leans to the left. And then again, I can also do the same to the bottom, and it leans to the left. But then again, because this is our frame, and let me just give it like an image so you can see what we're dealing with. So I'm gonna give it an image. And we want this to be our frame. So if I click this PG and I come to this properties panel here on the positioning part, and I click the top part, as you can see, again we have this line appearing, and then it's gonna make sure this is also 0 so it hugs the top bit. Nice. And then we're gonna do the same on the right side. So make sure this blue is lit, and then I'm just gonna give it like a 0 color. Nice. So what happens is our frame, our background is kind of covering our button and our layers. So as you can see, it's above the layers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag it below everything on my website, and then now it looks clean. But then again, I want to be able to see this welcome to my website clearer. So to do that, I'm gonna go to my background, and I'm gonna give it like slightly like, I'm gonna minimize the opacity. The opacity is basically how we kind of the transparency level of our background image. You see, if we put 0, we go back. Now if we give it like just a nice opacity, we have something nice, and I feel now our website is visible. It's visible enough, and voila. Again, I'm also come to my button, and I'm gonna come here and click view. I'm gonna preview what we've built so far, and it looks neat, it looks clean. But then again, we need to add some interaction here so that when someone kind of hovers here, it feels like they're hovering and there's a state changing. So I'm gonna click here button, and I'm gonna come here to effects, and I'm gonna click here hover, and then what will happen, I'm gonna make sure the scale is set to 1, and then I'm just gonna fill it with a different color. So let me just give it like red, or let me just give it like slightly gray color. So what happens is when someone hovers here, we're gonna see button having this effect. So as you can see, when I hover, the color is changing. This is amazingly well. And then I'm gonna come here to this button again, and notice we have this kind of a diamond icon on the right side. This is a show that we've just added a property effect on our button. Again, we can also add a cursor effect. So I'm gonna click here web cursor, and basically it means when I hover here, it's gonna change the cursor to that cursor. So let me just show you. So notice my cursor is different, but then when I hover here, it changes to this cursor that we've just changed it to. So again, now when I click this, nothing happens. So the final bit is we want to add like a link to this button, so when someone clicks, they are taken somewhere. So I'm gonna come here to the properties again, and I'm gonna just write google.com. So essentially, when someone clicks this link, they're gonna be directed to google.com, and I feel that's good and it looks neat. So once I preview again my site and I'm happy with how it looks, I can click here, publish your site, and within no time our site is published and it is live on the web, and you can share with your friends, your customers, or anybody who wants to see it live on their website on the web. So if I click this link, as you can see, it will open my website, and let me show you what we have. So we have this nice website. As you can see, we have just built something. Welcome to my website. You can click here, and once I click it, it takes me to Google, which is good. So a few things we need to look at here. We need to look at some contrast levels. We need to look at some interactions. We need to add more pages. We need to add change the font. But this was just a fast Framer 101 basics. I'm sure by now you have a clear understanding of what you can build in Framer, and you can go from an idea to a live website within minutes. So if you want to learn more about Framer, you can comment in the description below, and I'll be sure to cover more ground so that we can just get better at it. So thank you so much for watching till this part, and I am Joe from Framer Dive, and again I will see you again in the next video. Happy diving. Cheers. So every single week on Monday and Fridays, I'm gonna be creating an opportunity for you to have a one-on-one with me, and this is free, and I'm not charging you anything. It's only when you just very serious and you have a problem in Framer and you just want someone to guide you, or you want someone to share ideas with. So just grab the link in the description and we can discuss Framer.